you made some mistakes in the last technical skill before the last two, and Zimbabwe comes to defend. Zimbabwe comes to defend to stop the game. So in the second half, we thought that we make the. When we scored the goal, we think that maybe it's finished. So it means 10 seconds, I think. It's tough, it's hard, because my team was the best on the pitch. With the position ball, with the fast attack, so just missed some goals. And I'm so disappointed for my player, the country, because can't do it. I don't know the other game. I think we can go looking for the second place. So the game like that, it's crazy. I think maybe in the 10 last minute it was hard for.
Well then, of course, Eric Chelney's submission, honest assessment of that 1-1 draw against Zimbabwe. Now we will do our own assessment here. And joining me in this conversation, first of all, is in-house researcher Lakunle Faiga on the show. And Faiga, let me quickly ask you. He's just delivered what he called the honest assessment there, and he said the team made a lot of mistakes. Do you think these mistakes are proof costly?
Obviously they did. I mean,
at least for the other games to come. I mean, there are 4 more games. You never could tell.
I mean, this entire World Cup qualifying series has been riddled with mistakes for all I care. And that's why the Super Eagles are where they are, where even the likes of Rwanda are in a better position, than them. So it's been riddled with mistakes.
Well, also joining us on the show is former Eagles media officer, Tony Bitoye, to join us here. Great to have you on the show, Tony, again. And the Super Eagles disappointed yesterday.
Yeah, thank you, Ayomide. It was very disappointing, as you said, and it's difficult to understand what is actually going on with the Super Eagles in this campaign. This is the worst World Cup qualifying campaign I've seen since I started following the Super Eagles. We've played 6 games, we've won just 1. We've kept just 1 clean sheet. We've not won any game at home. And somehow we are still in it. So maybe the other teams in our group are conspiring to keep us in the race and help us to still qualify. But it was disappointing yesterday. It was a game that we could have managed better and gotten a better result, but it was not to be. And as we said during the analysis of our first game against Rwanda, all the good job we did on Friday in Kigali was undone by the carelessness in mismanaging yesterday's game.
Right. Toy, the coach has said that they made a lot of mistakes. He's admitted that. What kind of mistakes do you think bedeviled the team yesterday?
There were some obvious mistakes that we made. We could have been a little bit more purposeful, play with more urgency. We could have been more decisive in front of goal, particularly when we were very dominant in the first 20-25 minutes of that game. We could easily have gone 2-3 goals up. We were creating chances, we were not putting them away. And in football, the longer it takes for you to score, the more energy you are giving to your opponents. You heard the Zimbabwe coach talk about delaying the Eagles from scoring because he knew that the Eagles would get slower it's natural that the intensity will be reducing as the game wears on. So we were not clinical, we were not decisive, we were wasting chances, and we didn't, read the signs well. The Zimbabwe had a good chance in the first half, a couple of chances in the first half. There was one that was side netting. There was another one. Kamabiliat was one-on-one with Nwabali. Nwabali had to come out, rush out of his line to save, and Calvin Bassey now cleared. Those were signs that these guys would attack and want to score. And then you could also see in the second half, they hit the bar. After we took a 1-0 lead, they hit the bar. They had a few chances as well until in the other time that they got that equalizer. So we could have reacted and, did what we did in Kigali to run out the game, manage the game well, take hold of the ball and prevent them from getting to the ball. Stifle them of the ball and run the clock down and get our win. But we didn't do that. Instead, we brought in another striker. We were playing like we were looking for goals, and they countered and got the equalizer. So I think these were some of the mistakes. It was naivety on our part not to have closed that game down. Now it has cost us 2 points, and points are very precious in the round robin format that we are playing.
Okay, Toyin, before we take a break now, let me ask you, a lot of Nigerians are still hopeful. Do you think there's a way back into us qualifying for the Mundial in 2026?
Yeah, we still have our hopes hanging by a very thin thread. I said that the other teams in our group, it's like they are conspiring to give us the ticket. Because elsewhere, if we had a team that was winning all their games, the team would be on 18 points, and we are on 7, and the race will have been over. So the fact that South Africa have a case hanging over their head could be a lifeline for us, but that still depends on Nigeria taking their chances. Because right now, our destiny is no longer in our hands. We have to hope that results in other games also favor us. So that's the situation right now.
All right, of course, you're welcome back to Afrosport Now in Focus, and we're still talking about the Super Eagles' chances of qualifying into the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Let me come to you, Faiga. Now, you look at the next round of games for the Super Eagles after this. They've got to play Rwanda first at home. They will play South Africa and then play Lesotho away from home before they eventually take on Benin Republic at home, most likely the Godswill Akpabio Stadium in Uyo. How much of a chance are you giving the Super Eagles to prevail from here?
If I'm being honest, I think I'm not giving them a chance. And that is me being as honest as possible. Because these games against Rwanda and Zimbabwe was supposed to be that chance of redemption. And if you couldn't even take it against the lesser opponent, which was Zimbabwe, the truth is the likes of Benin Republic and South Africa are in a better position because they are ahead. So they will even be more pumped up, and they will probably take lessons from how Zimbabwe was able to get at us, and probably use that same playbook, because I've not really seen what wants to get them motivated. And the reason is simple. We've been in this place before. I mean, I remembered vividly when Nigeria played Central African Republic at Teslim Balogun. That was in 2021 for the 2022 World, and they didn't win. The Central African Republic were ranked, I think, 141st in the world that time. And you could see from the way the Super Eagles were wasteful on that day, wasting flora of chances. And, from the way the game was going, you could tell that if Central African Republic get the ball, they could score. And that was what happened. So, no chance.
We've still got Toyin Bitoye, the former media officer of the team, online. And Toyin, considering the next 4 games in that group, what must the Super Eagles do to ensure that at least they could get a tune out of these next 4 games?
Well, we are condemned to win those 4 games. But even when we win those 4 games, even if, I'm using a big if here because I don't know whether our boys have the mentality and the attitude that can see them go on a 4-game winning run. We have to also depend on results from other games. it's no longer in our hands. Lesotho can benefit from 3 points if South Africa are dogged 3 points. So Lesotho will also fancy their chances, although they are coming here, So we have to do all that we can, to ensure that we are visiting there because they've been here. They played the 1-1 draw here, So that's one game. Rwanda will be here. We have to get that result. We can get it if we put our minds to it. But, the game against South Africa is also very key. Even if they are docked 3 points, they will still be 3 points ahead of us by the time we are playing that game, if they are able to get a result in their own game away to Lesotho. So you can see that these results are no longer in our hands to control. If we win our 4 games and the results elsewhere do not go our way, we still no dice for us. So, but we are condemned. That's why I said at the beginning that we will need a miracle. That is, for results to come our way and for us to take our chances. So because we have a tendency of looking at other games and not focusing on our own. Focus on your own, win your own before other results can even become of benefit to you. So that's where we are. And the task ahead of the team, the Nigerian Football Federation and everybody now, is to ensure that we do whatever we can to adequately prepare ourselves to have that good run. Thankfully, we have a FIFA window in June. I hear we'll play a friendly against Ghana. I hear we'll play a friendly maybe against Russia. So we really have to make good use of that window, gel our team together, get them properly motivated, and try to go for the last hooray when we resume the World Cup qualifiers in September.
Yeah, you mentioned about possible deduction of points for South Africa. We know the situation. They have allegedly featured a player that should have been suspended for at least a game. But also, there's a clause to it, according to the same reports, that there was a 24-hour deadline for Lesotho to have registered the complaint over that player fielded against them. But how much of a chance do you think these points will be docked? And do you think it's worth depending on at this point in time?
No, for the FIFA World Cup, if it was a CAF competition, then there will probably be a deadline for you to submit an appeal. But it's not the same with the FIFA competition. A FIFA competition, these sanctions are automated. There's an automated system that checks all these records. Once it is proven that a player wasn't supposed to play and it was featured in a game, the sanctions will kick in immediately. It happened to us when I was media officer of the Super Eagles. It happened to us in 2018 when Shehu Abdullahi was ineligible to play the game against Algeria. Algeria didn't need to file any appeal. Nobody needed to file any appeal. It was in the FIFA system. So immediately that game was over and it was discovered that Shehu played from the records. They just sent a mail to our team administrator that so and so player wasn't supposed to have played. And the process immediately started for us to be docked those points. So it doesn't depend on whether Lesotho launched an appeal or not. The points will be taken off and they will be added to Lesotho's point. But the points are not benefiting us. The only benefit that we are getting from it is that it has given us a lifeline by reducing the gap between Nigeria and South Africa from 6 to 3. So we still have to do the heavy lifting. We still have to do the hard work of closing that gap. And we are going to South Africa. We are playing away to South Africa. So a draw will be okay for them. We have to go there to win. And you ask yourself, do we have a team good enough with the mentality, with the attitude to go there to win? So that's why I said it's no longer in our hands. We have to do our bit and hope that results elsewhere also favor us.
All right, then we'll see if the players can step up to that challenge. Thank you very much, Tony Ibitoye, ex-Super Eagles media officer, for your take on the show.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Right, of course, I've still got Olakunle Faiga with me here on the show. And let's see the next couple of fixtures in this qualifying campaign for the Super Eagles. And they will play 4 games. In between those 4 games, however, before the 4 games, there are friendly games, preparatory games that, of course, they could play as well. But Faiga, look at that. Nigeria up against Rwanda, the Godswill Akpabio Stadium in New York. Then they'll travel to, most likely, Johannesburg to face South Africa. Lesotho also will be on the road, and Nigeria would then come back to the Godswill Akpabio Stadium again to play Benin Republic. How many points, just before we go, how many points do you think we're taking from these 4 games?
Honestly, it's difficult to know how many points we'll get, but because it's tough. I mean, even the games at home, we are against Rwanda. I mean, we've not even won a game at home. So saying that we are playing in Uyo, it's an advantage. It's far-fetched. I mean, if we're able to get 6 points, to be honest, if I'm being fair, if we're able to get 6 points from these 4 games, that would be something worthwhile. Because, to be honest, what I think I can see, I think I see a lot of draws from these games. And that has actually shown that we have drawn more games than we have won. So I think I see more draws. So if you tell me, maybe say 4 points or 6 points, I don't know. But it's difficult to say we are going to get 12 points from these games. I don't see that happening at all.
Well, then we'll have to wait and see, because we will not know until the next international window. But then we have to wrap up the action here in the studio. Thank you very much, Olakunle Faiga, in-house researcher for Afrosport, for your take on the show.
Always a pleasure, MD. Thank you.
Yeah, and of course, that's the much we can take here on Afrosport Now in Focus. For more news and information, you could check our website, afrosportnow.com. You could also follow us on social media. And Afrosport TV is the handle to follow on all platforms. My name is Ayomide Shodubo. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.